Green Energy UK as a company are involved in the energy industry. We started by putting small systems on domestic roofs. We moved into larger systems on commercial roofs and now develop large systems on fields, solar farms and solar parks.
GEUK have dedicated staff members to ensure great efficiency. Let's talk to some of them to get more information on the process of solar farms.
We look at sites which have been investigated at the early stages, pre-selection, where they've done initial site investigations. We'll then look at the findings of those reports and we'll commission any further studies which need to take place prior to a planning application going in. Each site's unique really. There could be plenty of trees on site, there could be hedgerows which can't be removed and protected, there could be trees which are protected, there could be a certain species of bird, great crested newt. So it really is a case by case basis where you have to get an ecologist to look at the local environment and see how the site will integrate with it. On a case by case basis, we work with local ecologists and we commission different studies. We'll look at the findings of those reports and then set up an environmental management plan based on what's mentioned, whether it's to do with shading from the trees, whether it's a particular species of vegetation that needs to be planted to integrate with what's currently present, or whether it's a management plan over a number of years to ensure that we're assisting a protected species.
Our department is basically responsible to provide all the technical drawings to support the planning application, and these drawings include site location plan, site layout plan, landscape plan, flood risk plans, site sections, elevations for security fences, gates, and solar panels. The three basic criteria that have to be considered are, first one is the site or the solar farms or the solar panels should be facing towards south. The second criteria is the terrain of the site is should be sloping towards south, because if it's reverse sloping, then we have to deal with a lot of shading issues. And the third and the most important is any object which can create shading. It can affect the efficiency of the solar farm as well. So we have to consider all these three criteria.
We work alongside all the various teams here in the company and our consultants, archaeologists and ecologists to develop sites right through the planning process. We work to consult the general public through public exhibitions and correspondence via emails and letters. We work alongside the local authority to gain pre-application advice, and we factor all that into our final application, which we then submit to the local authority and follow the whole process through. Planning permission, once it's submitted, takes 8 to 12 weeks. However, the process can take anything from 6 months up to 2 years, depending on which factors are involved in the site and external factors such as the general public, local authorities, specialist archaeological and ecological issues we have to overcome.
The engineering department will start with a solar farm and look at what opportunity there is to connect there. Now, all solar farms up and down the country will connect via a district network operator, which is known as the DNO. So we need to establish if there's network capacity on the lines. So they could be the wooden overhead electrical lines that you see, or the huge pylons that are there. We need to make sure that we can connect the solar farm output onto those networks. From the start, where we initially, the marketing team will speak to a landowner to see if they're interested, Of course, we have to go through the environmental checks, heritage checks, lots of geography, flood risk, things like that. And then once that's gone through and has passed as an achievement, we will then look at the engineering network to make sure that works. So all of that process from when we initially pick up the phone and speak to a landowner to actual build can take anything from 12 months to 2 years. Very efficient. As an example, a 1 megawatt, which is generally quite a small solar farm, would cover between 4 and 5 acres and 4,000 panels. Over the course of a year, the electricity that creates would be enough to generate enough electricity to cover 250 homes' use during the whole year. But even more impressive is, on peak days in the summer, on a really hot sunny day, the solar park, when it's operating at full potential, can make enough power to cover 650 homes' electrical use on that day.
We're quite unique in relation to how we built the company. I don't think any planning team in the UK has as much experience as we have in solar park development. We do everything internally, so that's the legals, the heads of terms, the initial contact with the farmers for solar parks, taking it all the way through to public consultation and all the way through to planning, and now, due to the contracts just signed this year and last year, we will now own the sites for the term of the 25 years. So we are a fairly unique company. We're pretty much a one-stop shop. So when you talk to us, you're talking to the developers and the owners of the site with our partners. Generally, it costs about 1.1 million per megawatt. The smallest types of sites we do develop now are 5 megawatts, so that's 25 acres. So that would obviously be 6 million, or £5.5 million to build. But they go up to 40 megawatts, so that would be 45 million, 46 million to build. Typically, there's lots of variance depending on what part of the country you're in, how much it is to connect and build, what the leases are for the farmers, but typically we look to aim between 8 and 10% return. So that's a return rate of 8 to 10% per year. A typical contract under the agreements are for 25 years, and again it depends on the returns for the site and what part of the country it is, but typically it varies from about £600 to £1,200 an acre. The 40 megawatts I mentioned before has £1,000 an acre, and that's 200 acres, so the farmer will sit on a contract which is index linked for £200,000 a year for the next 25 years, so quite a good return for a farmer.